Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a new Idle Huntress video. Today's video is going to cover Prometheus's showcase. So, gonna try to make this quick and compact. We have the same event that's going on. The daily purchases is now a thing, so if you're spending up to $100 every day, then you get like 40 tickets and then 2 light dart tickets, so that'll be pretty good. If you planned to whale on Prometheus, I definitely suggest you space your spending out so you're making the most out of that daily reset, because that packs and tickets will reset every day, so within, I think, a certain time window. But in terms of the normal event, nothing's changed. The shop has not reset, which is kind of disappointing, but we do have another round of Dragon Monsoon, and same old. You know, you see a lot of people running Prometheus in the teams just to get Zhao to proc twice over. But besides that, you know, only the super mega whales are going to be ranking up high. I checked on the damage, and it's just insanely high. I just don't get how high they can get that. I think they've got maxed star gear, you know, and then they've got every bond, but it gets to a point where, like, I have no idea how they're doing that. So, and also, I think for the block matching game, if I wasn't explicit and I even misread it myself, I believed you needed 3 in a row on your panel to match for it to get rid of it on your board, but you only need 3 on your board in total. They don't have to be touching, they don't have to be sequential. As long as you have 3, it will get rid of it, so that makes the game easier whenever you're trying to solve it. But like you just saw, shop's not reset, puzzle's not reset, the exchange shop, yeah, same old, but we did get a daily reset, so those extra, 30 or 40 chance plus tickets, and then the extra 10 light dark tickets are pretty good. So as we can see, sadly, my footage for rolling from Prometheus got, it didn't save because I ran out of storage, which really, that was pretty upsetting, as well as we don't have any of the Lost Garden footage. However, thanks that the Canyon trials are operational, we are going to have that as our footage for gameplay. But as you can see here, they changed how pull rates are. They got rid of the soft pity that some people didn't like, so to say, and now it's a quote-unquote normal pull rate. But at the end of the day, you could potentially get your rolls before the 600th roll, but more often than not, you're going to be pulling well past 600. You're going to do it late 600s and potentially in the 700s to get all of your shards to 6-star characters now. So I highly suggest you guys save Omni shards and use an Omni shard to then get the last shard you need, because as soon as you pass 600-ish and maybe push it to 620. I do not suggest you guys roll past that, because they're just scamming you another $50-$70 that you could have just saved on one of the passes to get that Omni Shard, right, and cap her out. So here we go. This is going to just be some quick footage of the new Dragon Monsoon with Prometheus, and it's pretty cool, as long as the first character with the most speed, so the first person to attack is the one who gets to do damage to the snake mobs that are on the board, and after they do their first attack, then everyone else can do damage, but only the person with the fastest speed is allowed to damage the little guys. So if that was not explained or no one got that, that's why. But without further ado, let's get right into Prometheus's kit. So for Prometheus's first skill, we have Self-Explosive Device. It deals 400 damage to all enemies and removes 2 buffs, and has a 100% chance to inflict 2 burn marks. At the level 2, we then get 600 damage. Level 3, we get 4 burn marks, and at level 4, which is going to be like a UR level, that's going to remove all buffs. So, yep. Pretty simple. It's going to be crazy because the amount of burn marks you're applying to the enemy team. Helen is now useless when you have an enemy Prometheus because she can apply more burn marks to get the stun off before Helen even has a chance to cleanse it. So we can now remove Helen off our teams. We have her Ultra Skill, Firepower Overload. Deals 10 hits to the enemy, each hit dealing 48% physical damage to a random enemy and adjacent enemies. Has a 100% chance of inflicting 2 more burn marks, and then the damage increases to 80, then 122, and then for UR, it's up to 200. So this is a ton of AoE to the enemy team. Just the one thing is that if you go against a Karma, or a Carmen, or a Thor, and you don't kill the Thor, and obviously Carmen is not going to die, this is going to potentially kill everybody on your team, just for the fact that you are running 10 hits into a Carmen for her to then counter all of them if she doesn't die from one of them, right? But yeah. For her passive, we have Fire Keeper. On even turns, Prometheus enters into Fever State for 2 turns. Now at level 2, the final damage reduction increases to 20%, and when she's in this Fever State, which cannot be cleansed, which is great. And at level 3, the final damage reduction goes to 40%. And then for her UR at level 3, which isn't in the game yet, but increases all fire units, including herself, attack by 100% for 2 turns when she's in this Fever State. But the kicker about this is that the Fever State for Prometheus isn't like the really cool thing, but what is really cool is that this is going to then proc Zhao. For her, when she is at 6-star, she then, whenever an ally procs the Fever State, herself included, then she has a 50% chance to ult twice. So as soon as Prometheus enters this ult on turn 2, just like we see with the snake fight, then immediately, Prometheus is doing her stuff, and then Zhao is ulting potentially twice over. So a lot of DPS on the board. So it's great, right? And you only need the first skill. So I'll get into our star recommendations, but it's a very obtainable thing to have, and you're proccing Zhao. For her stat passive, we have Genius Mechanic, and this is giving us dodge and tenacity for 3, 4, and 5%, so very underwhelming, and literally any other stats would have been better than this, but, I'm not designing the game. Next is her exclusive equipment, Divine Windbreak. When Prometheus is on the field, decrease the damage received by fire allies from wind units by 5%. This effect cannot be dispelled, so that's cool. The EE then goes to EE40 goes to 10%, and then EE50 goes to 15%. But additionally, fire allies do an additional 50% damage, 50, so 50 to wind enemies. So if you don't need this EE. You don't need it whatsoever. Unless you're still putting your fire team, your burn teams against wind teams, it's not going to be doing anything because you just aren't pairing them up. Especially, I have Ashikaga, so I'm doing wind team into wind team. But if you still are, because of Prometheus, like I said earlier, she's bypassing Helen's cleanse because she's stunning before Helen even gets a chance to. This could be pretty useful. But definitely, I think you'd rather spend your gems on a Zhao EE50 or even a Carmen EE50 if you don't have either. Now for her Ultra Skill, Splash Cannon, Prometheus' normal attack now deals 200% of physical damage to an enemy and their adjacent enemies. This also removes 1 buff from them and has a 50% chance of inflicting 2 more burn marks. This also recovers HP equivalent to the damage she dealt, but this HP cannot exceed her original health that she started with. So pretty good, she's getting healing, but then at level 2, when she does get her UR form, then she activates her normal attack once, at the start of every turn, and then additionally, whenever she uses her normal attack, her skill, or ultra skill, all fire allies, including herself, recover HP equivalent to 1,000% of her attack, which is insane. We won't see it just yet, but it's a Carmen replacement, hands down. That's so much HP that recovers as long as you stacked Prometheus to be very, very heavy in attack. Last but not least, for her kit, we have runes and badges. So for runes, we're going to go 2 green and 2 red to get an additional 35% health and 25% attack. We want to make sure she's tanky enough to survive to proc Zhao, as well as we wanted to give her some more attack because she's going to be doing a lot of attacks just in general because of the 10 additional attacks, from her ult, which is going to be flooding the board with burn marks. So great stuff. We're going to want to give her some speed on the top right rune. It doesn't matter what color it is, but speed, you can either go attack on the bottom badges or more HP or mix it too. It doesn't matter. It's just however you think your Prometheus is performing, during your matchups. For badges, this can go 2 approaches, but if you 6-star her, you're going to want to go speed and then probably crit. You can also do attack instead of crit if you aren't a fan of crits, but because she's attacking so many times, if she gets crits on, half of them, she's dealing more damage than she ever would if you had a full attack badge. So just that's something to keep in mind. If you do by chance get her for 0-star or 2-star, which is also optimal if you cannot afford the 6-star. She will be able to get the burn stacks off from her first skill because that gets immediately at the 0-star, but then the 2-stars when you're going to be able to proc Zhao second skill with her ult if you have your Zhao at 6-star. So those are 2 areas that you can get if you can't get the 6-star, and if you decide to not get her to 6-star, you want to make her tanky with an HP badge, 100%, and then probably a defense badge as well. You could opt for health and then a speed badge instead, but the fault is that if you didn't 6-star her, she's going to be pretty glass cannon-y, so we want her to stay alive as long as possible to get the stuns off, and as well as to get Zhao to proc her ultra skill. So that's it for her kit, and now we'll move on to the pros and cons. So most of these pros and cons come from the community Discord, so I appreciate those guys very much. They have that she's an excellent Zal support because, once again, like I've explained with her kit, she's going to get that fever in turn 2 every time. It's not like Carmen where it's kind of arbitrary. So she's proccing that Zao ult 50% of the time, as well as Zao is then proccing her own ult 50% of the time when they enter fever zone, both of them. She can replace Michelangelo, because now she's getting those burn marks off the first thing on turn 1, which is unusual compared to the other girls. So if you want to, swap her out for Michelangelo, if you're rocking like Pandora and then a Carmen already, you don't have to worry about who do I replace. You can replace Michelangelo. However, in my opinion, I think Michelangelo and a Carmen are a very, very deadly combo when you're doing a Carmen v Carmen, because not only are you guys trading like the immunity counters, you're also then the enemy Carmen is then also taking damage from the Michelangelo barrier. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, her EE is not needed, so you get to save on materials, and then she's dispelling buffs from the enemy on her first turn, right? So whoever gets applied stuff, it's gone already. And then her ultra skill is able to apply, burn marks and dispel even more once the game reaches turn 3, if it even lasts that long. So that's pretty good. But in terms of cons, she has the slowest base speed for these SSR girls at 170. But then at 6-star, obviously goes to 270 because they get that extra 100 speed and then a crap load of HP once you hit that 6-star form. But that's why you want to give her the speed badge when you're going up to the 6-star version of her, so you make sure she's still getting her attack off before any like freezes or whatnot happens, just like we see in this gameplay, right? She's still alive and we're going to be able to do damage, and Zao is in her fever and she's about to just clear the board right here, right? Clean. Now, my verdict overall, you guys have pretty much heard it, is that we're going for, you can get her at 0 or 2-star because you're going to get the skills that you need for her utility to work. But the trick is that she's probably going to die if she isn't 6-star. So regardless of what you have her at, she probably won't survive long enough to perform, the burn marks or the Zao proc if you guys are going into a full 6-star enemy team, right? So unless you pair with a Take to keep her alive a little longer, it's going to be difficult unless you get that 6-star, but it's doable. You make the most of it for the guys on the like mid spenders or the very early game. You can get away with a lot from her, especially just even at 0-star. But hands down, you put her on the fire team, you're going to get the burn marks with the Honda. You're going to get that stun very, very early. So there's nothing to worry about, as well as as long as your Honda is actually casting and has bigger might than the enemy Honda, that's your only condition. But also just Zao and Prometheus are just professionals at clearing boards. As long as there's not an enemy Carmen or an Angel or a dodgy to charm one or the other, right? If you have to bait one or the other, you're definitely wanting to bait Prometheus so that Zao still gets to have her team-wide like ult cast, because you definitely don't want to have you don't want to have Zao getting dodgy charmed and then she can't board clear. Whereas Prometheus, may be able to get that board clear if Zao is the one getting baited in, but you don't want to kill your Zao because that's your win condition. But overall, do be careful about spending now. I guess it's a give and take, right? There's a lot more ways of getting tickets for a lot cheaper. However, now pulling, you're going to be, it's almost guaranteed you're going to be reaching the 650 mark, if not the 700 mark, just on how they made it more fair. They got rid of the soft pity, which I don't know who was complaining about that, but whatever, right? So if you're balling on a budget and have patience, I heavily suggest you guys only roll up to the 200 mark. Hopefully you got 4 copies. I think you got the pity, and then you're gonna get the 200. You're gonna get the 80 pity and then the 200 pity. If you do that, you only need to do 3 batches, and then you guarantee the 6-star at 600 spins. So you're saving all those tickets that you can use on the next batch of girls, right? So if you have the patience, I heavily suggest you guys do that. So you're getting 3 more pities than you would normally, as well as you're not going past that 600 mark, especially because you're not getting any more rewards once you pass that 600 mark. So just play it smart. If you guys are whaling, you guys are whaling. It doesn't matter to you guys anyway, but definitely be smart about it now. They're just trying to squeeze as much money out of us as they can, and I guess we're all going to be scared once the UR forms come out, because that's why they're doing this, right? They're releasing all these girls without a UR form to get us to buy into them first, and then they're going to release UR form and then actually show us how much that paywall is going to become after that. So definitely don't feel like you need to spend on this game. It's only going to get harder to be like on the top tier, which is fine. You know, it's fine. But to actually get started in the game, they have actually made it quite affordable in terms of all the passes and the new Lost Garden pass, as well as being able to skip it. So if you're, you know, playing $20 to $5 a month, you know, you can get by pretty quick, you know, get the girls you want, but you won't necessarily be 6-starring them. But slow and steady, you can get away with a lot of this. But as you can see, in terms of teams now, this is what I'm rocking. You know, I'm gonna use this burden team, get Michelangelo to put the shields on my girls in the front, and then have Copernicus just keep them alive long enough, because as long as they're alive, they'll wipe the team. And then my win team, we've got we don't need Robin Hood and Octavius on that team anymore, because they're just not dealing enough damage, and we get a lot more utility with Hannibal and Cleo on that team, where I have Junka on there if to get baited by Dodgy and get charmed, and so my rest of my team can wipe the enemy team without having to worry about losing one of the strong characters. But that wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this showcase. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Take care.